despite the deadness of Sarah's womb and his own body, fully persuaded that what God had promised the Lord was able to do. Abraham became Abraham, from being a father to becoming a father of many nations. So God transitioned him from Abram to Abraham. And we want to transition from where we are to where God will have us to be. But we've got to trust him. Look at your neighbor and say, trust him. The Lord is able to do exceedingly in scriptures abundantly above all that we ask or think. Watch this. According to the power, according to his power at work in us. Somebody say at work in us. In other words, it's the power of God at work in us that is going to enable us to do what we cannot do. We cannot do it in our own strength. Somebody say, not in my own strength. So it was God's power at work in Abraham and Sarah to bring about Isaac. It wasn't by any natural order. It was by God touching the womb of Sarah and opening up a womb that when Abraham sowed the seed began to grow in the womb. Oh, come on now. Talk back to me and begin to grow up. Somebody say yes. My God, my God. It was God's work in him. God blessed Abraham with the seed. Then when the seed grew at a certain age, God asked him to sacrifice the seed on the mountain. Lord help me, Jesus. God will bless you with something, but he asks back for it. And it's not that he needs it, but he wants to see how faithful you will be in whatever he gives to you, whether or not you're willing to give it back to him.
Hallelujah.
Oh God, y'all ain't saying nothing to me now. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. This was what Abraham wanted, was a seed between himself and his wife Sarah. Then God says, Abraham, I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to challenge your faith even much more. I'm going to ask you to do something that's going to mess with your psyche. I want that seed that I've given to you. Talk back to me, saints of God. Hello, hello, hello. You're messing with my mic. You're cutting me. You're cutting me. Somebody shout yes. Yes. As we know, it was a test if Abraham was willing to sacrifice what was most precious to him back to God who gave him the seed. And the question is, are we willing to make the sacrifice? In what? Because one thing we talk about sacrifice is the next thing to act. And to act upon what is being asked of us to do. Somebody say that. Yeah. Y'all going quiet on me. Hello, saints of God. To take what was most precious to him and give back. This test, however, was a foreshadowing of what God will do himself. God will not ask you to do something that he himself is not willing to do. Oh, hello, saints of God. It was a foreshadow of what God will do by himself through Christ. For Christ was the seed of promise as well. The seed of the woman, Genesis 3:15. He made a promise that he would send the seed of the woman who would come as the redeemer, who would come as the emancipator. So God, when he was speaking about just the seed of Abraham, or which would be Isaac, it also foreshadows the seed of the woman who would come and redeem us. Somebody say yes. And God gave his son freely that we might be saved and to multiply